Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear student, Assalamu alaikum. Today I am here for you to explain our lesson Introduction of Programming, which is the chapter number 4 in your book. So in this lesson, we will discuss about the techniques of how of, to write the program, what is a program, what is the programming, who are the programmers who write the program, and when do we need to develop a program. So these are the topics which we have to discuss today in this lecture, and hopefully after listening this lesson you will able to do your assignments which is coming from this lesson, and you will understand the concepts of the programming and programmers, and who, when do we need to develop a program, why we need to develop a program, and why the companies or the different peoples they want to develop the programs. So let's discuss how it's going on. So first of all, we will discuss about what is a program. As you can see in your slide, so if we will describe what is a program, so then simply we can describe it. Program is a set of instruction which guides the computer hardware regarding their job. As I have discussed in the classes, so many classes we have discussed previously about the concept of software and about the concept of program. So computer basically don't know how to do the work because it's a simple physical hardware which we can touch only, and which cannot work without the softwares or the programs or the instructions, you can say, which you are giving to the programs, to the computer. So computer always needs some kinds of instruction from the user who is using the computer. But these kinds of softwares may have different types. Okay, some people maybe want the one program who doing the work for him, the calculation. Some needs who make the who want the program that will be discussed about, that will be made for that to be make the graphs, or some wants to make the analysis for through that programs. If you go to the markets, there are different markets, or in any office, or you go to sometime you go to the airports, sometime you go to the you are traveling to through the railways, through the airplane. You can see over there different peoples are working with the different programs on the computers. I'm giving you the example, simple example. When you go to the markets, you purchase some items and then come to the point of sale. So you can see there are different salesmen are making the bills using the computer softwares. So this is very easy to make the calculation, and it will generate the bills and give it to you within the seconds, or within the minutes, or within the seconds. So it will save your time, and it will save your money as well for the businessman. How we will here discussed about it. So simply, if we can say that the computer program is a collection of instructions that can be executed by a computer to perform a specific task. So these are written accordingly to the requirement of the user who has some specific requirement to write the program, to write the software. So from the program in its human readable form, Human readable form means when he is writing the programs, it is called a source code in any programming language. And only the task, what we write for that, only the task they perform, what the program write for that specific given task. So you can see here which software computer is, we have already discussed that computer is useless. You must give him some simple instructions to follow it. Okay, so there are different kinds of softwares available here: word processor, game programs. There are different games available in the markets. There's spreadsheet like Excels and database systems who can store the data of the people. I have given example before in the airport or in the on the railway stations, or so they are keeping the records of the people in their databases. So there are different graphics programs and the web browsers like the Internet Explorer, Google Chrome. So these are different kinds of programs which can perform the different tasks. So let's go to the next slide. First, what is a programming? So this is our first thing which we have to discuss here. What is a programming? So it's simple. We can say that the programming is the process of creating a program. Process of creating a program. So we can define it as that is the process of creating a set of instructions that tell a computer how to perform a task. So you can use the different kinds of programming languages, like I will give you an example like SQL, Java, Python, and C++. So in this level, the people are the student in the schools or colleges, they are using the basic language, which is quite simple to understand the concept of language. Then if you go ahead for a next level, then the people use the C language, which is called the mother of languages, where the people can build their concepts in their basic levels. And it is also that if for example you people learn the C language and you have built your concept very strongly, then you can easily learn any language of the world, because when you make the concept of what is programming, so then this is basically the rules and regulations. Like I give you an example of football. You like football, any game which you are liking, like let's example of football. So there are rules for playing football. Okay, there are rules and regulations. So when you play football, you have follow some instructions from the jury, the umpire. There are rules for the games. If you beyond the rules of the game, then there are problems coming for you people. Yani the player cannot play, or the umpire give the foul or something like this. So you must have to follow the rule of that game. So same like this, you have, whenever you are using any kind of language to make a program, you must follow the rules and regulation, and then you can make that program easily. So there are different kind of languages which you are using to develop a program, which I have given the example like C++, Visual Basic, Visual C++ to develop the website like this, the most popular, Java. There are different techniques. So but it depends that what kind of things you want to be programmed. So let's see the next. This is basically a complete process. So we have to follow that process. There are basically the 5 steps to follow that in this lesson. We will discuss it. So let's see the next slide. Who are programmers? So easily you can understand it. Who are the programmers? Programmers are basically those people or the persons who design, writes, test, implement, maintain and update the programs. Ever you see in your mobile phone that you install any kind of program or the software on your mobile? So after some time, there are some updates are coming on weekly basis, daily basis, or monthly basis, or yearly basis. It's coming all the time to update according to the situation. So basically, program are the basically person who write the programs for the people. So basically, sometime it is called the coder, and sometime it is called basically the person who creates computer softwares. So basically, if we define who are the programmer, the term computer programmer can refer to the specialist in one area of the computers, or to a generalized who writes code for many kinds of softwares. So programmer is basically who write the program for the people, for the organizations, or you can say the all steps I told you: design, write, test, implement, maintain. These are different steps. We will discuss further here. You can say there are some steps here. The general steps for writing a program includes the following. Basically, it's a developing a program, a complete process from which step by step we have to follow, and then a program is going to be developed with the time. So let's see what are these steps and how we can understand it. The first step is basically which is discussed in the book. We will follow the book. There are some advanced feature or steps for that, but we will discuss the according to the syllabus which is defined in your course. So this is developing a program. There are 4 or 5 steps discussed in your book. Okay, so the first step to understand the problem. I can give you one example. For example, there is a shopkeeper. Okay, he has the problem, the daily transaction, what from the morning till evening. He want that to record the sale on the daily basis, and at the end of the day when he close the shop, then he wants what is the total sale of the day. This is his requirement. And after that, maybe his second requirement may be that he want what are his daily expenses. So this is a simple example I'm giving you. So his requirement is what are his daily sale and what are the expenses of the day. So after that, maybe his third requirement is, so what is the income of the day after the expenses, and what are the income of the week or income of the month. So there are different requirements of the different areas. So this is a very simple example. So he called one of the guy or the software house. He connect with the software house, or so he connect with the any of the programmer who has the know-how. So he must have the questions. When he tell his problem to that programmer, so then programmers, the analyst, basically it's called analyst. So he will ask you basically some different questions. He will inquire about that. What is your problem? What things you want to be resolved, or what kind of your at the end of the day, what kind of reports you want to do. So these are all kinds of things is going on. So after basically finding the problem, the analyst basically to define or the programmer to define to think it about, and then he writes some simple kind of steps which is called algorithm. This is the second step how to program is to be solved. So he write the different steps of the algorithm. So I will explain you this algorithm with another example with the one of the algorithm I have written here. It's a simple, if you make the simple cup of tea, if you want to make the simple cup of tea, there you can also write the algorithm for that. So how you write, this is a step by steps instructions. You have written step by steps that how to make a cup of tea. Like here I have mentioned in this example, fill the kettle with water, switch on the kettle, put tea in the teapot, wait. Then if kettle has boiled, pour water into the teapot, or you have to go back to the step 4. Again you have to wait. This is a decision point. Here you have to make the decision. So then after that, put the milk in the cup, pour tea into the cup. So these are the simple steps which we have to follow to which after that he make the analysis, and that after that he write the simple steps to solve the problem. So this is, I have given the simple example, and it is a form of the language. So come back to the same slide here. After writing the algorithm, the simple steps, another example I can give you, for example, you can write also the simple algorithm. So what you are doing daily, what you are following. For example, you wake up early in the morning, you take a bath, or after that you have to have ready for the school, and then after that you come to the school. After what you people are doing daily basis, you can, if you have to step it down, write it down on the step by step, then it will be easy for you to solve the problem. The next step which we have to follow, that is the flow charting. When you have analyze the problem, okay, what is the problem, then for that problem you are finding the solution, and then you write the algorithm. After algorithm, the second next step is flow charting. So as I have shown you here about the algorithm, so I have made the flow chart here. Look, you can easily see that. Start making tea, switch the kettle on, fill the kettle with the water. So this is the pictorial representation of your data on the using the different diagram techniques. Okay, so here in this diagram we are using the rectangles, the diamond sign, the arrow sign. So this is the different technique. This is another chapter we will follow after that, or in the next level, whatever it is. But here in this initial level, you just know about this is the pictorial representation of the algorithm or the data diagrammatically. If you go back again that slide, so after flow charting, now it's the ground is set, and it is ready to code. So let's see what is coding. If you say coding is convert the logic of the algorithm with the syntax rules of any programming language. So if you can see this diagram, the coding is basically you can use, before I told you as in the earlier slide, that you can use different kind of languages like C++, Java, PHP, CSS, HTML, so many languages. But it depends what kind of your requirement, what is the requirement of your customer, or what is the requirement of your what is the demand for that, in which they want to be built the software. So convert this logic of the algorithm with the syntax using the rules. This syntax, basically the word syntax is used, this is a programming term. Simply we can say these are the rules. I have given example of before in the earlier slide of the football, any games when you are playing to have to follow the rules. So if you are using any language, also you have to follow some rules. So this is the basically coding. So a program the programmer basically who are the programmer basically write the code for the program, and are after writing the codes using different kind of languages, so you will convert the logic of your algorithm using any kind of programming language into in the programming code. So let's see the next step after the programming, when the programmers had coded the program. So then the next phase is coming, the testing of the program. This is the case, this is the very critical step. In this step, the basically programmer check the code of the program in initial stage. Is there any kind of error come to the program, or they are generating the same kind of the things according to the requirement of the customer, or according to the requirement of the person who is having who is demanding from you. So program testing is the process of executing a program with the intent of finding error. After test, when you are testing the program, so there are two types of errors can be may be generated. The first one we can say the syntax error, and the second one we can say the logical error. So in this stage, of course, you must know about that. What is the syntax error? So if we can check it out about the syntax error, we can define it as that syntax error is an error in the source code of the program. Source code, I told you that the coding which you are using in the different kind of programming languages, so this is called your source code. By using this source code, you can using the, I told you, you are basically following the rules of the language. As you can see in this example, I have circle here. So you are using this kind of language, so you are using the semicolons, you are using the braces, you can using the hyphen sign. There are different kinds of signs you are using. So if you have missed any of the rules or the syntax of the program anywhere in the line, so when you compile your program, the errors must be generated if you have missed anything. As you can see here in this language, in the program, here it has missed some kind of semicolon here or the braces, so it will generate the error. So when you are missing the syntax or the rules of the any kind of language you are using, then the syntax error is generated when you compile the program. So what is the logical error? So logical error, you can say when you are writing a program, so if you put the wrong concept of the program. For example, you want to calculate the salary, okay, so you are writing the program that you have to calculate the salary of the employees. So you put the wrong formula for that. So this is a logical error. The program will execute and it will give you the answer, or it will give you the report or something. A report will be generated, but maybe it will be a wrong if you put the logical concepts wrongly in the program. So if I simply describe you logical error, for example, somewhere you want to put the plus sign and you put the wrongly multiplication sign, the program will be executed and answers where 2 plus 2 you have to add two numbers, 2 plus 2, but you put over there 2 multiplied by 2, it will give you the answer 4, okay, in both the cases, but the formula is wrong. But if you put here, for example, there are another two numbers, 2 multiplied by 3 and 2 plus 3, so the program will be executed, but the answer or the report what you want, it will be generated the wrong answer. So what is the difference between syntax and the logical error? Syntax errors are generated. If you are missing some statements, missing the syntax when you are writing the program, then the syntax error generated. But the logical error, when you put the wrong concepts or wrong formulas or the different kind of operators, like comparison operator, less than sign, equal sign, or the static sign, so whatever it is, so it will not be, a program will not stop, it will execute it, but it give you the wrong report. So this is the syntax and the logical error. Now come to the conclusion. In this lesson, basically what we have learned that the program, about the program, a programmer write the program to perform a specific function. For this purpose, he has to follow the different phases and techniques to make solution of the program. So if you see in this conclusion, so we have one thing very clear. So first of all, we have to define the problem, and then when the program problem has been defined, then a programmer make the algorithm flowchart, and after that he will code that program, and after that the next step is testing phase. In the testing phase, if errors are generated, then they will rectify these errors, and after rectifying this error, this is the testing phase come. So it will be tested, and then it will be finalizing. The beta version will be generated for it will put into the market or wherever the demand is. For example, if it is an organizational demand, so then it will give to the beta version to the organization for the week or for a month or for in the testing phase. They will run that program. If some kind of error generated on that phase, so it will be contact with the programmers or the software house who made that program. So they will rectify the errors, and after that give them the final copy. So hopefully you will understand this lesson, and thank you very much for your patience, and have a safe and happy life.